What's going on, guys? Jacob B here with another video, and today I'm discussing the 2020 Senate races. Although we're 15 months out, we are having serious candidates coming up and appearing. So first I'm going to start with what seats are safe red. On the West Coast, the two safe reds, or not West Coast, but in the western United States, Idaho, Wyoming are safe red. There aren't really any serious challenges to the Republicans holding those. Solidly conservative. Jim Risch is really popular, and Liz Cheney is pretty popular too. Next up, Nebraska's pretty safe, and Oklahoma I was on the fence about between safe and likely, but Jim Inhofe is not that unpopular, and the only candidate who could flip this seat is Brad Henry, the former Democratic governor of Oklahoma, but he has neither confirmed nor denied. So, I mean, yeah. Now, Tennessee I'd call safe too, and Arkansas, I don't see a serious Democratic threat in either of those. Alaska, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that one's pretty safe too. Next up are the safe blue. It's going to be these 4 East Coast seats. I don't really see any Republican challenge plus Oregon. And Illinois in the middle of the country. So, yeah. Democrats are at 41, Republicans are at 38, so advantage Democrats right now. Next up, we're going to do likely Montana, South Dakota, Mississippi, Louisiana, and actually I should categorize West Virginia as safe. Okay, Montana, the only way it could be competitive, or there's actually 2 candidates who can make it competitive. Former Governor Brian Schweitzer. He has neither confirmed nor denied if he's running for Senate. And Steve Bullock, he is running for president right now, but I don't think he's likely to qualify for the second Democratic debate on September 12th, or third Democratic debate on September 12th, 2019, which effectively will force him to drop out. So, that's why that's likely. South Dakota, that is likely because there are 2 solid candidates on the Democrat side that could run. One is Billy Sutton, the minority leader of the House of Representatives. He came in and made the governor's race within 3 points. So if he ran, it makes South Dakota Senate a toss-up to tilt Republican. And Kansas, it's likely, although Kansas is one of the most Republican states, it's likely because Chris Kobach is running, and Chris Kobach is horrible. He's he's a horrible candidate. I mean, I don't have anything personally against him, but it's not a good candidate. I mean, there are other good candidates on the Republican side that I think are going to beat him. And also on the Democratic side, I know there's a former member of Congress running, so I can make it competitive. And also, I'm going to call Texas and Kentucky likely Republican. Those I'm a little less certain about, especially Kentucky. Mitch McConnell's the most unpopular member in the Senate. 50% disapprove, only 36% approve, and obviously 14% have no opinion. But because he's a Senate Majority Leader and he's now fundraising with Donald Trump, that means he's going to have a crap ton of money to defend himself. But he did get a really good challenger in former Lieutenant Colonel in the Marine Corps, Amy McGrath, who came within 3 points of flipping a solidly red House seat, Kentucky 6th District, in 2019. So, yeah. He has a pretty solid challenger, but I honestly think he's going to hold on. He's been in the Senate since the 1980s. Let's check down here. 1985, yeah. And then Cornyn, the top 3 candidates who could beat him, or 2 are running for president. One's a campaign manager. Beto O'Rourke and Julian Castro are running for president of the United States. And Joaquin Castro, who's Julian Castro's twin brother, is actually managing his campaign. And he also screwed up when he doxed some of Trump's donors the other day. So that's going to hurt Texas Democrats. And then MJ Hager, though, ran for Congress in 2018. She actually came semi-close to flipping a Republican-held seat that was pretty solidly Republican. So maybe she has a chance to make it competitive. But as of right now, it's likely Republican. And also, I'm going to call South Carolina likely Republican. Lindsey Graham is pretty popular. He's also big friends with Donald Trump, who's going to win South Carolina in the 2020 presidential election. But he does have a semi-strong challenger in Jamie Harrison, who is being endorsed by the National Democratic Party. But that's just a preliminary endorsement. They're not going to throw any money at him when it comes down to it. Now, likely Democrat. I have 2 seats here. Minnesota. Tina Smith won by over 10 points, but Minnesota in a presidential year was actually pretty competitive last time. Trump only lost by 1.5 points. And Tina Smith's popular. I don't see any reason she'd lose, but it's within the competitive margin. In New Mexico, it used to be a swing state, and as of right now, because the incumbent chose to retire, it's not all the way safe, although when Ben Ray Lugin gets the nomination, he's the best candidate. Assistant Speaker of the House, National Democratic Party behind him. There's no way he's losing that seat. Republicans are maybe going to find a pretty good candidate, but I don't honestly think so. I mean, they're going to find an average at best candidate, and it's going to be a 15-point race, but for right now, unless the Democrats screw up a lot, it's going to go the Democrats. Next up are lean Republican. I have Iowa, and I think, Iowa and probably Georgia. That's it. Honestly, and I'll give Maine I'll give Susan Collins the nod right now. Although now I gotta explain them. Joni Ernst, she has a barely positive approval rating in 2019 quarter 2, but they actually ran polls on the 2 Democrats that have filed to run against her, and she's winning by like 25 points each time. So that's why I'm not putting too much emphasis on her race. And Georgia, Stacey Abrams, the big candidate in 2018 for governor of Georgia. She declined to run. I think she's running for president, or she's going to be an activist. Then Maine, Susan Collins. She did get Sarah Gideon, the Speaker of the Maine House, to confirm she was running against her. But she's beating her by between 14 and 20 points. So, although she is the second most unpopular senator in the whole Senate, she's still probably going to win. And also I'd put in lean Alabama. Doug Jones, he won in a fluke against an alleged pedophile. I mean, it's not that hard to beat even in Alabama, but he only won by 1.5 points. I mean, I would see this race differently if he came out and won by 30 points, but he didn't. There's Tommy Tuberville, the former head coach of the Auburn Tigers football team, and Bradley Byrne, who are ahead of Roy Moore right now, who's in third for the Republican nomination. I think Tuberville's going to come out of that. In Alabama, they love their football. Tuberville's probably going to be a United States Senator from Alabama. Yep. Okay. Guess we're going to go lean D. I see one seat is lean D. Or 2, actually. Virginia, New Hampshire. because I'm using tilt. That's why I see only a couple of seats as leaned. Virginia, I would have it as likely. Mark Warner is relatively popular, but the thing is, former Congressman Scott Taylor announced that he is running for the Senate, and he's already got a couple of former congressmen endorsing him, so he has actually a pretty good shot at pulling this off. Or, not a good shot, but a better shot than Corey Stewart did against Tim Kaine. And they're also floating because of Virginia had a crisis because Governor Northam was either wearing a KKK uniform or a blackface when it came out in a picture in 1984. The Democrats were having some issues with their leadership, and then next in line, the Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, had sexual assault allegations come out against him. And then after that, the Attorney General, Mark Herring, had blackface come out against him. So they are floating the idea that Mark Warner could go back home and run for governor, which I think then would give Scott Taylor an okay chance of actually flipping this seat. Although I still think a Democrat would probably win. Now we're going to go to the big seats. Tilt. Arizona is Tilt R. Martha McSally is actually leading in the polls. She is the support of Trump, who I think's going to win Arizona 2020. Yeah, it's a swing state. Mark Kelly is a strong Democratic nominee, former astronaut and gun control activist, who's also the husband of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who was shot by Jared Loughner, a crazy person who, yeah. So, Mark Kelly has a really good chance, but that's why I'm putting it Tilt. And I'm hesitant about this, but I'm going to put North Carolina as Tilt. I don't know, I just feel like the incumbent, I want to give him the advantage. This is probably, yeah, it's going to be so close. Although Thom Tillis has a good chance to lose. I'd say he's probably 51% chance to win, just because he's not the Democrats' top target, and they may not throw as much money at him. Now we're going to go to the Tilt Democratic seats. Obviously, Michigan, Colorado. Cory Gardner is not that popular. He's even in the blue state. Democrats are going to be motivated. There's a big field trying to challenge him. John Hickenlooper, the former governor, may jump in. He's probably going to fail to qualify for the September 12th Democratic debates, although he's not officially withdrawn from the presidential election yet. And some website domains have been registered in his name for the Senate, so yeah. The Michigan I have is Tilt, because Gary Peters not that popular. He's a corporate Democrat, which means the progressives hate him because he takes money from Wall Street. And he's just not liberal enough to appease the entire Democratic base, and Republicans hate Democrats. So he's not popular with Republicans either. And then he's got a damn strong challenger, John James. He just ran out of time in 2018. He got behind by 25 points, just screwing around. And he closed the gap all the way to about 6 points, but still lost to Senator Debbie Stabenow, who was much more popular. And also a poll came out between Gary Peters, John James. Gary Peters is leading by 1 point. And there's 13% of the voters are undecided. Yeah, this is going to be damn close. I don't see any way that this is not an extremely competitive race. So, honestly, people are hyping up the 2020 Senate races. I say it's going to be a net zero change, although 2 incumbents are going to fall. That is Republican Cory Gardner of Colorado and Democrat Doug Jones of Alabama. That's what I think. I'm out. Peace.